Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Unfiltered Garage. And in full
What up? What
transparency,
up?
we haven't been so consistent. And man, it's just life has gotten busy and and we're just we're having our own occupations and whatnot. Unless you start paying us for doing this, otherwise we're just gonna we're gonna be we're gonna be doing this whenever we can. That's the reality. And
Yeah.
has been busy. And you have your own ministry, you have your own occupations. And we had a heck of a week last week at church. We had our church conference called Revive Conference, and we're pretty busy. Sunday to until Wednesday, we were busy on that, on the conference. But yeah, what are we talking today, dude? What are we discussing today, man? How you being?
Yeah. I've been okay. I'm alive. I'm alive. I'm well. You know how it is. It's been a tough couple of days. We
Yeah.
we said we weren't gonna be touching the Charlie Kirk stuff, and we're not. But enough said with that. It's been challenging, and you know what? We're making it. We're making it. And if you like our content, please like and subscribe. He said that we need to get paid. We don't need to get paid. Just like and subscribe. That's more than enough for
Yeah,
us.
yeah, yeah. So speak for yourself.
Listen, today we've got a great episode. It's going to be a short episode, but it's going to be a powerful one. We're talking about the lessons that writing teaches us. And when we're not talking about lessons in writing and all that good stuff, we're talking about what God has to tell us and what he's teaching us while we're writing and how we can apply that to our daily life. So loud that really what God has to share with us, it drowns out the pipes that we have, which are very loud. I speak for myself. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. It's the lessons that we learn on the saddles, what God has to offer us in terms of learning experiences and what he's trying to tell us every time we get on our bikes. That's what we're talking about today, brother.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. Some people do yoga, some people do meditation, some people ride motorcycles, man. And so people hit the throttle so they don't have to hit the bottle. And there is a lot of spirituality that we can find riding motorcycles, especially if you're a Christian man. And I can tell you that for me, before going to the lessons, for me, when it's a long ride, and I consider a long ride something that is gonna be an hour and a half up, and the first 20 minutes is me trying to get in my mindset, the right mindset, and I don't do that alone. I do that. I involve God in that. But if God blesses us with a beautiful Florida winter, and Florida winter, guys, is 74 down. Florida winter day with the sun is shining. We are just taking beautiful country road. How could you deny God in a place like that? You're on two wheels. You smell the grass, you smell just smell the country, and you are looking at your motorcycle. It's just beautiful, and it's a spiritual thing. To be honest with you, it's for me, it's a spiritual, and I know for you, it's spiritual too. So,
Yeah. That's why we call it God's country. When you're riding through them, through those roads, and you say this is truly God's country because you get to see and you know what? It is the nature and God's creation, even speaking to you. And even though we're going at 60, 70, 80 miles an hour, you can clearly see God in every brushstroke of His creation.
yeah, if you're going, and this is for a friend of mine, two friends of mine that are probably I don't know if they're listening to this or not, but if you're going over 90 miles per hour, you don't really get to experience God.
Uh,
And the guardian angels, they already left. Like you don't get to see the God country. This is what you see.
yeah,
So
they catch up. They catch up. They catch up.
they
They
catch up.
catch up.
Okay, sounds good. So listen, lesson number one that we wanted to discuss in here is trust and surrender.
Mm.
Talk to us about it, bro.
Yeah, you know what? So when you ride, a lot of what you do is really based on muscle memory. You're not doing it constantly. You're going through the gears, you're pulling,
Hmm.
you know what you're doing because you do it all the time. And that is you start to trust in your abilities. The same applies with our walk with the Lord. and while we're writing, right? We just trust in the fact that he's there, he's with you. And that trust, that secondhand nature, we have to develop it in our life with everything. That means that when it starts getting rough, when something unexpected happens and that changes the lane, you might be involved in what you're doing, but you see it and you trust your instincts. What we're learning is we have to trust that God has it, that he is in control. It doesn't matter what, and you lean into him. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not in on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight. How many times have you been writing? Have I been writing? And all of a sudden, I will never forget, we were going to visit Leo, and I praise God because he's with Jesus now. But when we were going to visit Leo at the hospital, and all of a sudden, it had been raining, and all of a sudden, your Dinah, Grace, and she started with the shimmy and the shakes, and I saw you, and we didn't stop. It was the hand of God, and you trusted not only your abilities, which at that time in your writing career was questionable, but you trusted in the Lord, and it straightened out. And that's what we're talking about. When life gets kind of kooky, lean into the Lord, and that's what we learned from writing.
And that's beautiful, man. That's awesome because you said that you trust your muscle memory, and it's kind of like the memory where the keyword that I want to use in here. And when we as Christian men, we need to start trusting God that we have seen it doing it again and again and again. We need to trust that, right? And this is, something that we put here on the notes is this is not about writing blindly, and this is not about doing the Miyagi-san that you're gonna put some blindfolds and you're gonna write like that. That's flat out stupid, right? And actually, God doesn't call you to blind trust. God calls you to trust in Him and His
Amen.
abilities. Not you're not trusting someone that you do not know. Now, when
No,
you don't know God, when you don't have a good relationship with Him, you don't know God. It is hard for you to trust Him. If when you don't know the Word, when you don't know what the Bible says, it's hard for you to trust Him because you don't know what is in there as promise to you, right? So, and let's talk about promises. There's a lot of people that says, "Oh my God, but I'm going through this trial and tribulation." Congratulations, you're living on the promises of Jesus because Jesus said that in this world you'll have tribulation, right? Doesn't
amen.
says
That's
that
right.
it's gonna be everything perfect. It says you will have tribulations, but you're trusting God. You're trusting God because it also says, "Fear not, because I have overcome the world." That's what it says. So, it is important for us to have that understanding of the Bible, right? And it's not about listen. We trust someone in China that is fabricating a. We don't know the guy that is fabricating a part for our motorcycle. We trusting someone in Milwaukee that we don't know what kind of day that guy had, and that is putting together the engine or the brakes that is supposed to stop you when you're riding your motorcycle. But we don't trust our God. And it's hard for us to trust our God. What is the difference? We don't see that guy in Milwaukee putting the motorcycle together. We don't see the guy in China, putting the air cooler together. But we have seen God operating in our life, right? So, I think I agree with your point. Trusting is leaning into what we already know. It's not leaning into muscle memory just for the sake of muscle memory. We already know that. And we know that God is good and He's good every single day and He's there for us every single day. We're leaning on to that.
You know what?
I got preachy. Sorry.
No, 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 no. But you know what? I love it because what you're saying is so true, and that trust comes from relationship. We have relationships with our bikes, and these are inanimate objects, right? But we have been. If you're a good rider, if you are a diligent rider, you are going to make sure that your tires are full. You know the ride, you know your bike. You make sure that your tires are good, that you don't have any bald spots. You know that your oil has been changed. You've given it maintenance. You know the bike should be, by and large,
Variable condition.
reliable, right? Because you have that. When you mention that, God, it's based on that relationship. So the more the more present a relationship you have with God, then the more you will trust, because you know that he will not fail. He will not, like that song says, yeah, he will not fail. He has never failed, and he won't start now. So definitely I like that idea of building that relationship with God, so that when the troubled times come, you lean
And they will
in.
come.
No, it's not if, it's not, it's just about when. And
Mm-hmm.
what we know, this is what we know: Jesus is true to his word. But and the same in the same term, that verse is so valid, and it's so beautiful, because he's promising you, he's telling you in this world. And I love the way that it's said in The Chosen. I fall back to The Chosen because I really enjoy that show. It says,
Yeah, we're watching it right now.
in this world, bones will still break and hearts will still hurt, but fear not, because I have overcome. And that promise and that security that we can have in that, it doesn't matter what curve, what sudden problem you're gonna have in life, because it's gonna happen. You can always lean in the fact that God is with you, Jesus is with you, and he will deliver you from it. And this doesn't, mind you, I want to be very honest, it doesn't mean that you're not gonna have to deal with pain and sorrow, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's not it.
Important that you make that point.
It's in spite of the pain, in spite of the hurt, in spite of the fact that we lose people that we love, we will lose things that we cherish. That has nothing to do with the fact that he still loves us and that we will overcome, because he has overcome. So it's just a matter of fact that we have to rise above it, just like we do when we're writing. Some bonehead is going to pull a move that is going to make you need probably a change of pants, but that doesn't matter. You just keep on writing, and it'll, you go on. The ride continues.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And trust is something that is important, because trust and whoever you trust with, right? So you need to trust. If you're a rider and you don't trust your motorcycle, either you stop riding, you change your motorcycle, something like that. I have a brother of mine. He had the most beautiful road glide. It was a 2023 or 2022, I don't remember. Beautiful road glide, blue. You know him. Shout out to my brother Taktia, by the way. I'm trying to invite him to the podcast. Um, and dude, but he didn't trust the motorcycle. The motorcycle had a wobble, and he had the wobble since factory. And man, and he tried as much as he could. I'm telling you, this guy's handy. This guy, he can branch, and it just didn't happen, And he had to change his motorcycle. So because what happened is that the opposite of trust is fear, and fear paralyzes you. Fear is nothing but trust in the devil. Trust that the devil is saying is gonna do, he'll do. So faith is the opposite, right? So faith is the trust in God. So lesson number two. Let's move on to lesson number two. Patience in the journey.
Mm.
Wow. You know what I'm doing now? I'm counting sons. When I want to make it home, I'm counting sons, and I say, I know this ride, this stretch is gonna be at least. So I like classic rock, and normally they are 4 minutes or something like that. So I say, well, this is gonna be 20 songs. So I'm counting songs, like it's gonna be 20 songs. So I don't want to look into the GPS. I don't want to look into the watch. I want to look into the song. And I want to focus myself on song. But patience in the journey. Patience is extremely important. Want to talk to us about it, buddy?
Listen, man, patience is something that nobody really wants to have.
No.
It's because if you and this is not in the Bible, but it's a cliche. When you ask for patience, what you get is tribulations, because that is what gives you patience. It works on you, pardon me, because it's a product of overcoming. Patience. Nobody wants to have it, but you have to develop it. And it's very easy to lose patience. It's very easy to get desperate, to be. I remember one time riding back, when I was riding with Bam Bam, we were coming back from Texas. It was the very day that his bike broke down because of his battery. It was going on 11 o'clock at night. We had been out all day, and I was doing just precisely that, because I started to get desperate, and I was looking at the GPS, and I didn't want to. So I was doing precisely that. I even stopped listening to music. I started listening to comedy on Pandora. I pulled up, I think it was Kevin Hart or Bill Burr, because I needed distraction because I had no more patience. But fam, it's so important that you develop it, because it's a guarantee that you will in some point find yourself just like we do in a traffic jam or in a situation where you just have to wait. That the Lord might be telling you, be still. And that's super hard. And that will, that's what it takes, patience to just be still and kind of just let the minutes go by, maybe hours go by. I can tell you, personally speaking, and Ozzy, you can speak to this. There was a moment in my life, in my marriage, where I didn't know what was going to happen. Truly, it was teeter tottering. The whole situation was like teeter tottering, and I didn't know in what direction this was going to
It's
go.
gonna
I
fall.
had I had faith, and you remember, you were with me every step of that way in that journey. And man, did I have to just lean into the Lord and just believe that He was in control. Trust lesson one, and be patient and just say, you know what, Father, you have this. So, fam, just when you have to, just trust in the Lord, wait, and believe that God is in control and that He has your best interest at heart.
James 1:3-4 says, because you know that the testing, kind of like the Bible verse that you were referring to, and it
That's it.
doesn't specify like that, but because you know that the testing of your faith produces
Mm-hmm.
perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. In other words, this is when you are going to when you know you're gonna go into the waiting room. This is not about you bringing iPods and you're bringing your video games, you're bringing your iPad, you're bringing your magazines. This is not about that. This is about you bringing your pillow and your comfy shoes because you know that you're gonna be there for a while. This is facing it forward. This is just okay. This is the waiting room. I don't need distraction. I want to be present in the waiting, which is counterintuitive for us, right? Because we don't want to be. I mean, bro, it's just like we cannot go to the restaurant. Man, we have our Instagram or TikTok. Like I mean, it has gotten to that point that we cannot even sit on the toilet without just scrolling up, scrolling down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm being for real, right? And excuse me, ladies, if you're listening to this for being so graphical, but it's not about that. It's about being present in the moment. Just like I'm waiting, but I'm here waiting. I'm okay with waiting. That is that because I do understand that waiting is part of the journey. It is part of the journey. If you need to be patient on the motorcycle and you're not present, you're going to cause an accident. That is what happened. You're going and it's that digression. You're going to go. Now you have to wait for a tow truck, or you have to wait for the police, or so you have to wait for the ambulance. Whatever is the case. So that's what we're referring with waiting.
Ozzy, you just said something that's so important, and you know what? We have to overcome and we have to defeat the need to be distracted. You said something so important and so real, and ladies do it too. They take their phone, we take the phone everywhere we go, and we're always on the Instagram, we're on the TikTok, we're on the Facebook. We are doing something, we are always occupying our time. The question is, when you are distracted, when do you have time to hear what God may want to speak to you in that waiting period? And this is the answer. You're never going to hear him because you're distracted, because you are distracting yourself. You're looking for that opportunity to
Oh my
not
God.
not listen. And you know what? You're cheating yourself. You're missing out on so many things that the Lord might be wanting to tell you and to impress upon your spirit, because you're listening to the other voices that just keep your mind occupied. And just to throw a shout out to Pastor Chris, I love that he said in a message, wrong voices lead to wrong choices. And sometimes while we're waiting, we need to be patiently waiting. And there's a verse in the Bible that talks about, I patiently waited. And it's a beautiful text. But if you're entertaining yourself with other voices, beware of not making wrong choices because of that.
It's all good, bro. Nobody. So listen. And this is, patience isn't just waiting. It's how we wait. Are we complaining? Do we want to
Mm.
trust when we're waiting, right? Because the people of Israel, I will say that the people of Israel in the Bible. Listen, bro, and
Mm.
please don't quote me on this one. But I see people that have to be in the waiting room for 40 years because they keep on complaining and complaining and complaining and complaining. I'm gonna give you a super simple example. I had to get a blog work, and I know that the company that I choose to use, which is the one close to my house, they have some, yeah, they take forever. So I went with my headphones, and I went with, and I'm waiting there 20 minutes, 30 minutes pass, and I said, man, these people don't call my number, and I really need to go to work. And I said, hey, you haven't called my number. And I said, we called you 25 minutes ago. So they called me 5 minutes
Mm.
after I wasn't there. Because immediately I went for the distraction. I went for the
Mm.
complaining. I went with the mentality that this is boring. This is, what am I doing here? And when that happens, you might miss somebody's calling your name, and you might miss it. So don't allow yourself to miss God calling you and giving you directions just because you don't have the patience in the waiting room.
I love it. I love it. I love
And
it.
I'm not gonna watch this episode. Really not gonna watch this episode because I'm preaching to myself, and I really don't want to hear myself talking to myself
No,
about
no,
this
no.
kind of crap. This is
That's it.
ungodly.
Let's go to number three. Let's go to number three, Ozzy. What does this say, man?
Well, man, this is funny because we live in Florida, and we know that in Florida, if you pass 30 miles, you're gonna hit a storm. That's just the nature of it, right? And life is like that. Life is like that. If you have a purpose and you are riding long enough, you're gonna hit a storm, and we need to be okay with that. Yeah. So we cannot. If you're riding long distance, you're gonna hit a storm at some point. And that doesn't mean that you listen what I'm saying. That doesn't mean that you have to leave your house with rain gear because a lot of people are so afraid of the storm and they are so aware of the storm they don't want to hit the storm and they just over prepare for that. Man, it's part of life. It's part of what we do, right? So just keep that in mind.
Not only that, dealing with rain gear brings a whole other set of problems,
Yeah, it's a sauna.
a whole other set of headaches. Because now you got to stop, you got to put it on. You're on the side of the road. I am not an advocate for rain gear. I truly believe in just leaning into what it is and just keep on moving, keep moving forward. Interestingly enough, there's I believe it's the buffalo or the bison that they lean into the storm and they move forward because they know that the quicker that they keep on moving, the
they,
faster they're
they
going to get
they're
out of
gonna
it.
pass. Yeah.
So that's the mentality, and when we're riding, that's what we're talking about. And you know what? It's not only the storms, it's the breakdowns, it's the unexpected issues, the blowouts, whatever it can be. That's a lesson because there's some things that as much as you prepare, something's gonna happen, and you just have to be ready to handle that and know that this too shall pass. This too shall pass. It's just for a moment. And you might see it as that, oh, it's an inconvenience. That's fine. But what is an inconvenience in the grand scheme of things in life? It's just that. It's an inconvenience. I remember we were joking around once and you said, but did you die though? But did you die? Did you die? No. Okay,
No.
then you're good. That's what we're talking about. These storms. The question that you must ask is, but did I die? Nah, I'm good. Lost a finger, but did I die? That doesn't
No.
change anything. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to tell you, in life, you will have the problems, and we talked about it. It says, John 16:33, in this world you will have
Go ahead,
trouble,
love
but
it.
take heart, I have overcome the world. And that is so, so important. And I love, this is my other verse that I love. I have it tattooed on my body. Isaiah 41:10 says, so do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. And when you believe this wholeheartedly, believe you me, The troubles that you find on the road while riding and in life, they will suddenly shrink and
Yeah.
shrink and shrink. And that it's not that it's just that it's not that it's going away. It's just that it loses importance. You start to see the bigger picture. You start to see that the Lord is with you and that he will not abandon you. So yeah,
Yeah,
don't worry
I
about
love
the
that, dude.
storms.
Listen, man, the good news, and this is, the good news. The good news is that a storm pass. They have to pass. They're not forever. And when when you ride into storm, oh, any problem whatsoever, add that to your stripes, add that to you the certain skills. And now I'm bringing this to our Christian walk. When you pass a storm, let me tell you something. The enemy can't attack you like that anymore. You're wise. You won that battle. You're wise up in that one, right? So you won that battle. He can't. That is something else that he won't be able to attack you because I'm not gonna do that because that guy defeated me on that one. So it says in here that he will uphold you with his righteous hand. So this is not your battle. It's his. But we learned that by right, dude. And last but not least, which is something that I absolutely love, man. Lesson number four is the appreciation of the moment. Um, Man, is there, and this is something that you and I will share in terms of writing. Um, we need to write, buddy. We need to get together and write pretty soon.
Yeah.
Pronto. We need to make it happen. But you and I will share this one, bro. Which is appreciation. Appreciate the moment, dude. Like be in the moment. Don't rush it. Don't just stay in the moment. Just enjoy the freedom. Enjoy the wind on your face. Enjoy the heat if it's the heat. Listen, every time that I'm complaining about how hot it is, I am reminded that I have brothers up north that they won't be able to ride, and they are just I see them just right now riding with hoodies and stuff like that. And I was like, man, these guys are squeezing squeezing. So enjoy the moment, dude. If it's raining, enjoy the moment. There's people that don't have rain, and they have to they don't have one motorcycle. So enjoy the moment. And what does Psalms 19 says, bro?
The heavens declare the glory of God, the skies proclaim the work of his hands.
Yeah, man. And
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. No. That's it. Like I remember I r- I get pretty excited. When I remember, I don't know if you remember this, the 7 Miles Bridge. When we were coming from the 7 Miles Bridge, man, and I don't know for some reason I got overexcited and I was just hauling
Yeah. Yeah, you
hauling
blew
butt
through
on
it.
the. So yeah, I just blew through it, and then I was like, "Bro, I'm an idiot. Why I had to do that? I mean, I should have just to slow down and just enjoy this beautiful man. I'm riding through water. Just hey, it's a miracle. There's so many people that will come down here to Key West just to ride this one, and I was just here I am just breaking every single rule or law, and just not enjoy the time. But ever since then, whenever I see a bridge or something like that, I just slow down. I actually love going through them. Yeah, that's me.
Listen, I just have, I think about the following, and I've been talking about this a lot, and it's the fact that, fam, we're not promised tomorrow.
Mm.
That's not a guarantee. Nobody is, and I think we were abruptly reminded of that with the recent events. We're not promised tomorrow, so how could we then not take advantage of every moment? In my work, one of our slogans, you know, is be here now. Be here now is just be present in the moment and take advantage of every opportunity to be where you need to be. A lot of people talk about this when you're with your family. It's talking about the ride, right? When you have a beautiful sunset, a beautiful sunrise, maybe that time where it's dusk and you're just seeing all the beautiful colors. I like to ride early in the morning because I want to get out of Miami safely. But the blessing about that is that I get to see the sunrise and I get to see all the colors. And it's a beautiful thing. And it begs to be taken in. But the same thing we can be said about the moments that we have with our families. We're at the food at the table. Don't make the mistake that so many families are doing where they have their phone out and moments to just enjoy and to live. It's the hands of the clock move forward always. It's never back. There's never a moment to rewind. There's no rewind in
Hmm.
life. So when we do not take advantage of every minute that we have, an opportunity to have a laugh with your kids, with your wife, with your friends, because you're scrolling and doom scrolling at the table, really, this is just really it's squandering. It's squandering life, and
You're
and
robbing
we know that.
yourself, right?
No, you're cheating yourself,
You're cheating yourself, huh?
and I understand that we take it for granted because we always think, no, later. We'll have a conversation. We'll talk later. I see my wife. I see my wife every day. That's what we think. Tomorrow it was not promised. So if you have the opportunity, when you're writing, when you're with your family, when you have something that's been gifted to you, a responsibility, whatever it is, be present, be there now, make the most of it, and be grateful. We mention it because so many people don't have that opportunity. How many people don't wake up in the morning? It's millions of people that every second are leaving this world. Did they maximize every opportunity? Everybody dies. This is a cliche. Everybody's heard it. Everybody dies. Not everybody lives. We
Yeah, it's true.
choose
It's true.
we
It's
choose
true.
to live our lives on two. Not everybody can say that. We know so many people that say, "Man, I wish I had the. I don't want to say it. I wish I had the gumption to do what you do, to get on the bike and ride in the city, or do what you do cross country, whatever it is." So many people would love to have what it takes to do it. We do. So we know what it is to really take advantage of life to the fullest. But that's writing, and it's a blessing, and it's beautiful. And I hope I will be writing until a couple of minutes before I go. Let's say that. But
You know what, buddy? That's beautiful, dude. We're sharing about being present in the moment, and this translate not only to the motorcycle, translate to everything as you referred to, man. And you remember this? We had a local brother in here. He was the vice president of a club that we love.
yeah,
Great guy, man. Really close to us and whatnot. We rode with him that morning. Do you remember?
yes, I do.
We rode with him that morning, and I was joking with him, and we sat at the same table, and we are just having, and I was having, I don't know, you were having a burger, like it's gonna venture say that you,
Yeah, no,
and
exactly.
yeah,
A burger
yeah,
tenders. One of
or
the
tenders, either, the chicken nugget, we're just having, but we're just sitting at the same table, kind of like listening to the same rock band, this and that, and we took off earlier, they stayed in there, man, and we got the text message at night that, hey man, and my dude died, passed away on a motorcycle, bro. It was brutal. And ever since then, I just make a conscious effort to be present at every single moment because it can happen to any of us. It can happen. Unfortunately, that is not forgiven. It's coming for all of us, right? So, um, and I always say that we Christians, we always we wanna go to heaven, and we wanna meet Jesus, but nobody wants to die, right? So it happens.
Everybody wants
So
to go, nobody wants to die.
no one still wants to die. So, but yeah, bro, this is short and sweet. This is the episode for today, man. Anything else that you wanna add, bro, before we close?
To be honest, take advantage of every lesson that you get on your bike. Don't think that just riding is just riding. Riding, it can be so many things. It can teach you so many things. It can teach you to be a better man, better father, better husband, better Christian.
Mm,
God is always speaking to us on our bikes. Just take the time and listen. Listen. Listen,
good.
listen, listen.
Well, fam, that's it for today. Short and sweet, as I promised. Guys, like, subscribe, share this content. If it's something that is resonating with you, just hit the bell. What in any platform that you are listening to us, we are in pretty much every single podcast platform. Sure, man, and you can like, subscribe.
Let us
Let
know
us
what
let us
lessons you've
know.
learned. Let us
Yeah,
know
let
what
us know.
lessons
Let
you've
us
learned.
know. Thank you, guys. Have a
Ciao.
great evening. Bye.